Amadu. Inshallah, we begin our gathering today. And one of the things we want to do is also do what's called ta'aruf, or what I mean by that is getting to know each other. So more people should be here. So do y'all suggest that we wait till the more people are here so we won't have to do it like so much again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Makes sense to me. So we'll skip that part and we'll move on to continue with yesterday. And the question we asked yesterday is, what is Islam? So what is the answer to that question?
Complete way of life.
Complete way of life. And if we say it's a complete way of life, why do we say that? What does it mean it's a complete way of life?
That's your lifestyle, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You are or something?
It's makes who you are. Yep. But when we say as a way of life, it's a complete system covering everything that we need. So it governs the whole lifestyle. So it's not just part of your life, but complete way of life. So everything that you do, Islam has governed how those things should take place. Okay? So everything that's beneficial for your life, Islam has taken care of it. Everything that it will harm you, Islam has warned you about that. So Islam takes care of the whole life, the whole human existence. So it's not just an individual thing, but it's a society thing. Right? So it takes care of everyone. Okay? So therefore, when we talk about Islamic law, and that's derived from the two sources, which is the Quran and the Sunnah, the traditions, the authentic Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's where the Islamic law is derived from, those two sources. And we say that what does Islamic law do? It has goals. What are those 5 goals? It has 5 goals. What are they? And we said that it is the preservation, protection of the religion, right? So your right to worship Allah without any interference, to worship one God and one God alone, one creator alone, right? Without any interference in that. So Islam protects that right. Number 2, it protects the right for persons to have wealth and property. So what I own, no one has the right to come take my belongings. No one has that right. This is mine. Okay? The only thing that Islam says, well, there's a right that you have upon Allah, which is your what? Zakat. Okay? So in that case, an Islamic government does have to what? Enforce that, because that is a duty upon you that you have to do to fulfill for those that are in need. So that what? Again, that takes care of the rest of the people of society. So it's not just a greed thing. We're not just taking from you for my own benefit, for whoever the Islamic government is for their own benefit, but for the benefit of the whole society, which this is something that Allah has ordained. This is not something that man has ordained. It's not what they've come up with, but what Allah has decreed. Okay? And so, but whatever is your wealth, you have the right to protect that and to defend that. And the Islamic government also have to what? Protect you in protecting in the having that right and protect that right. Number 3 was, we said, honor. So a person's honor, their dignity, their lineage, right? So whatever considers honor, so no one is allowed to backbite you and slander you and say things about you that are not true. This is your right for that to be protected, for your name to be protected, to say that you did something that was immoral and you didn't do it, right? And Islam also protects all moral things. This is why we have things that are considered halal and things that are haram, right? And that's why I wanted to protect your honor in society, right? There's a thing that's haram called zina, right? Fornication and adultery, because what happens with that? It disgraces a person. It disgraces the family. It disgraces the society, right? And it puts people out of place. Right, so it protects the honor and lineage of people. Number 4, we said the intellect, the mind. And so therefore, when we see things that play with your mind that don't make sense, Islam says stay away from it. things that's going to harm your mind, stay away from it. It's going to play tricks on your mind, stay away from it. And so some of those things that can damage your mind and damage your intellect and play tricks on your mind are what? Alcohol and all other type of intoxicants and drugs. So those things that are people out here using that flakka and all the different stuff, turn themselves into zombies and all these different things, right? Drinking alcohol, and that's what, if we look at the stores, what they call them, wines and spirits, right? People get a different spirit inside of them. They act differently than what they would normally act, right? So they become sometimes possessed, right? And this opens up a doorway for possession from those other unseen creation, the jinn that's mentioned. Okay, so it plays with the human intellect. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, so on Sunday we was talking about jinns, and they said that our teacher said that the easiest way a jinn can like enter a woman is by like perfume, and if you're like taking like a all naked shower, basically like you have to wear something like.
Not necessary, but you could be like, if you're just taking a shower inside of your in your bathroom, right? This is fine. So because you're shielded and you're covered, so that's not necessarily true. We don't have any proof for that, right? So and this is the thing, sometimes people, they come with cultural things and it may sound good, right? But there's no proof or evidence that comes from the Quran and Sunnah with regard that we know of that says that you have to wear something else on top of that. If you choose to, there's no problem. Right? If you want to wear if you choose to, there's no problem. But you shouldn't be just walking about the house freely naked like that. You understand? So as soon as you get out the shower, you cover yourself. Right? You put something on, but you shouldn't just be walking around out and about freely unclothed. Right? But if you're actually in the shower and showering, you don't have to make things difficult on you and have something else on top to do that. Right? But if you were perhaps worried about being exposed, right? Like, for example, you're showering somewhere else where it's easy access for unknown people to just come in, and you want to just have that extra protection, then that would totally make sense. But if you're in the comforts of your own home and there's a bathroom door, you close the door, usually people don't do that in the house, right? they know someone, the door is closed, someone's in there, right? If they're not sure, they do what? They knock, right? They hear the shower water running, they know someone's in there, right? So we use our sense with regard to these things. So that's not something necessarily true with that regard. But walking about freely, yeah, that's something different, right? So in this part of modesty and shyness, and keep covering yourself, even if no one else is around, right? Because we know that also the malaika, they are around. So out of shyness for the malaika, the angels, this cover yourself as quick as possible. So we know we have to change our clothes. We know we have to maybe lotion ourselves and all those different things. So we have to do that, and then we cover ourselves as quickly as we can, right? Okay. So yes. So but there are ways, but we in particular, we'll talk about this inshallah later about the jinn and things, but we know that the basic dua, the basic supplications that we make when we're entering the bathroom, the toilet area, right? For that purposes, we make the dua before we go in. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal khaba'ith, right? So we make that supplication before entering the bathroom. We know we step in with our what foot? Left foot, right? And we do not speak, right, unnecessarily while we're in the bathroom. We do, and when we finish, we take care of our business. We get out. When we exit, we say what? Go to Franik. Right? So we know that. We also know that, also keeping away from other filthy places. And that's why it's also important, yes, to keep ourselves clean, because this is some of the things that the jinn, they do like. So by being dirty and being unclean, having urine on you, feces on you, your body, your clothes, your place, your home being unorganized and things of this nature, jinn like these type of places, like these type of things, the garbage and trash area, etc. Right? So we seek protection from the jinn, and when we enter certain areas and things. So we'll talk about all those various different things when it comes to the world of the jinn and protecting ourselves. But we know that in general, also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us to make what? Dua, supplications. And to recite what? 2 surahs. Which 2? To protect us.
The glass.
Huh? No, this from the calf from Dajjal. Huh? Huh? And that's another one for the recite at night. But there's 2 very easy surah.
Surah Fatah.
Well, this is a general protection. In reality, all the Quran is protection, but there's 2 surah that is specific that we should recite, that protect us from all type of evil things and possessions and magic and envy. Huh? No. Falaq and Nas. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. So that one, so it talks about the evil. So seeking refuge with Allah, from Allah, from all created evil, all things that are evil, from the evils that come out at the night times, and the evil from the people who do magic, right? Because so magic is something that's real. Okay, we don't have to get spooky about it or anything like that, but it's something that's real, that people do actually practice magic. Okay, they believe in magic, and unfortunately they widespread magic and made it fun and interesting for our children by way of cartoons and games and stuff like that. And so they've downplayed the effects of magic. Yes. So they go to further. So they've downplayed the effects of magic on people and made it like something, just for fun. Right? But this is a great evil that we should stay away from, right? And so and you know all the TV programs and shows that are out there that deal with magic and stuff of that nature. So they've made this, they've done this, and it's not just by chance, it's by design that they made it in these ways to make it appealing to the people. And then they introduced the games, Ouija board and all this different stuff for people to, they reintroduce these things so people to go and buy and play in the magic 8 balls and all this stuff in genius, they make it tasteful for the people. But at one point in America, this stuff was banned and outlawed, right?
So they bring it back,
and then people are trying to bring things back. So a lot of things within our society that's acceptable today was not acceptable and was banned and looked down upon and outlawed years ago. A lot of things, even at one point, alcohol was banned. It was illegal to produce alcohol in the United States, but but people was doing it on the underground and gangs and mafias and they were selling it underground and things of that nature. And so sometimes people say, okay, how can we profit from it? We'll just put a tax on it, right? And make money from it. Now look at marijuana, huh? It was, how many people are locked up because of marijuana? But now, it's a business. Now it's right. Now people are selling it as a business. But they a few weeks ago or years ago, everybody was being locked up, right, for it. But now people are making it as a business, right? So they change laws that they want, and this is the effects of man. That they'll change things as they like. One day it could be like this, one day it could be like that, right? But in Islam, things are established by Allah, and it's not up for us to change it as we want, because while people may see that there's some benefit in some of these things, but Islam, Allah says in the Quran, the harm is greater. The harm is greater than the benefit. There might be some benefit in it, but the harm is greater in it. And then there are things that we look at on a case-by-case basis, but in general, these things are harmful for the society and harmful for the intellect and for the mind, because it's if we look at some of the people today, that are using these things, they're like zombies. Because they don't do anything but only indulge in these drugs all day, every day, and then they mix it with other things, and they're just zombies, and you don't even know what they're talking about. May Allah help our youth today. Khair, inshallah. So what were we talking about before we got into that? So the maqasid al-sharia, the intellect, all right? So we got to that was point number 4, that to protect the intellect. right? And everything that is will harm the intellect, Islam tells us to stay away from those things. And number 5, the 5th point, is life, human life. So protecting human life, and whatever that may be. So murder is haram, stealing is, we know it's haram, robbery is haram, all type of crimes against people is haram. It's not prohibited in Islam. So Islam has a complete system established to protect the human life, the value of human life. And that's Muslim and non-Muslim. All the time we have to remember that Allah has established a way of life that's going to be better for everyone, whether you believe in it or not. So even those who don't believe in Islam, Islam protects them. Islam protects them. Even if they don't believe in Islam, Islam protects them. This is the beautiful thing about Islam. But in other ways of life, it doesn't protect everyone. It's only for certain groups of people. It's only for certain groups of people. But Islam, if it's established, it protects everyone, whether they're believers or not. Whether they're believers or not. And so, and people, people who, even enemies of Islam, there are those that really know that. They understand that. They know that. But because they're evil and they have their own agendas I just want to be powerful, I just, whatever it may be, they reject it on those grounds. And you see people even like Pharaoh was a person like this. He could have just become Muslim and been okay. But his arrogance caused him to continue to transgress. Tayyib. Alright, so we covered those two. Then we covered the Shahadatain, right? And the Shahadatain is what enters a person into Islam. And that's the most important thing that we say that we introduce to people. And that is declaring that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah alone. He has no partners. Alright? And that Muhammad is his final servant and messenger. Okay? And we say he's the final servant and messenger because we also believe in those previous servants and messengers like Isa, Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, Yahya and John, peace and blessings be upon him, and Zechariah and Lot and David, Dawood, Solomon, Moses, Abraham, all of them, Joseph. Believe in all of those prophets and messengers, beginning with Noah being the first messenger, and also Adam. We believe all of them as prophets and messengers of Allah, those that were mentioned by name, and even those that we don't know about that was mentioned by name. But Muhammad being the final, and there's none to come after him. And so that rejects anyone who says that there's a prophet or messenger after Muhammad. So when you see all these other groups that have come up over the years after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we reject them right away when this guy is saying he's a prophet or a messenger. So that's that. And then we spoke about why we said that the only way of life that is with Allah is Islam, right? Because we said Islam is what? Part also submission. Okay? So that's why we said that Adam, peace and blessings upon him, he was a Muslim. Noah was a Muslim. Moses was a Muslim. Abraham was a Muslim. Jesus was a Muslim. And Muhammad was Muslim because they submitted to God's will, to their Creator's will. They didn't do what they wanted to do, because had they just did what they wanted to do, they probably would have fled from their responsibility. Who wants to put themselves in all that trouble, right? Who wants to go through all the hardship and their own people rejecting them and turning away from them and going against them, right? Everybody just like peace, right? But they think about peace for myself, right? But Islam said, no, you have to deliver this so that everyone can have it. And this is what Allah tells the people. Everyone has to have this opportunity to know what this great peace is. So you just can't be yourself. Alright? So they had a message, they had a duty they had to fulfill. And so they fulfilled their duty, they submitted to God's will, and that's what made them all Muslims. And we said also under the Shahadatain comes the other things that a person shows that they really truly believe in this statement of Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, which is part one. That's part one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The second pillar is what?
Salat.
Salat. which a person has to do every day. Okay? Except for when they have a valid excuse. Number 3 was zakat, which we have to believe in it, and if we have the ability, then we pay it. But some of us may never have to pay it because we may never reach that amount of money. We may not never have it. But those of us that do have it, then we must pay it. And it's only Allah asks for a small portion to give back to the people, right? A small portion of your wealth, right? And we have, okay, so we have some math people here. So if Allah has asked you 2.5%, right, of your wealth, and so you have $10,000, how much is he asking for you to pay from that $10,000 to help someone else in need?
0.025. I need a calculator. 10,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have 10. So it's like, well, a good like 150, 200.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exceed 1,000 though. It's like blood.
Come on, what is it? Come on, y'all. Y'all gotta get that math on. Come on, summer ain't just because it's summertime, school not out. Huh? Come on, y'all have $10,000. Allah says just give 2.5% of that one time a year. Y'all got calculators? Use them. Y'all got on your phones, right?
I know it's like less than 350. 350.
Huh? No,
Yeah.
it's not 350.
It's not. Is it a little less? I think it's a little less than 350. Times. Okay, 250.
Huh? 250.
So how is
All right. So what is $250 from 10,000?
A paycheck.
It's nothing. Okay? That's nothing really. That's all Allah's asking. One time a year. See, Islam does not even take a lot from you.
One time.
One time a year.
250.
If you're right. So if you had 20,000, how much? You had 30,000, how much for it, right? So it's only 2.5% of whatever you have. Okay? That's not a lot. All right? So we know if it was 20,000, it'd be what? 500. All right? If it was 30,000, it'd be what? Huh? 750. All right? All right. So it's not a lot. It's not a lot that Allah is asking. All right? So we have to understand Islam is not something that's asking for a whole lot from the people. Just give a little bit of what Allah has blessed you with. Okay? Then the other pillar is what after zakat? Sawm, which is fasting. Every day? Every month?
No.
Huh? Every other month?
Once.
Once a year for how long?
30 to 29 days.
29 to 30 days. That's it. 29 to 30 days out of 350 some days. That's it. Huh? 360 days?
Yeah, 365 days.
No, that's on the solar calendar. We're talking about on the lunar calendar.
Oh.
On the lunar year, Ramadan to Ramadan. And we're not talking from, from January to January. All right? Yeah, that's on the solar calendar, but on the lunar calendar, no. Okay. We follow the lunar calendar, Hijra calendar.
Oh.
All right. So that's why we have to know what month we in right now. All right. Huh? We in what? All right. Well, no, what month we in? Nah, we out of Shawwal. It's over now. Huh? What's after Shawwal? Not Dhul Hijjah. What comes before that? So we supposed to know these months. La Dhul Qiyada. Okay? So we have to know our months.
In Arabic?
Yes. That's the only way they come. They're not even in English.
Oh.
Okay, so we have to know them. Because we have to know, when does Ramadan start? When does Hajj start? Okay. When is the month of Muharram? Okay, which is the first month of the year. So we need to know those things, because there's actions that's pertaining to our religion surrounding them. Number one, Ramadan. Right? So we know in the month of Sha'ban, which is the month before or after Ramadan? Before Ramadan, right? That we're getting ready for the month of Ramadan. We also know, so we also need to know this act of the next pillar, which is called what? Hajj. When does that come? In the month of Dhul Hijjah. When is the month of Dhul Hijjah? After the month of Dhul Qa'dah. When is the month of Dhul Qa'dah? Before the month, after the month of Shawwal. And Shawwal is after what? Ramadan. Okay? And in Shawwal, is the Prophet ﷺ, he says, whoever fasts Ramadan and follows it with 6 days from Shawwal, it's like to fast the whole time. Okay? So everything we have to know, there's what? Ibadah, worship connected to it. So we have to know those months. Okay? So we have to know those months. We just can't only be negligent of those. We're going to memorize those months, inshallah, and know those. And for those of you who have phones, you got your apps. It's on there. If you got Muslim Pro and all that stuff, it got it on there. So follow every day. When you're looking at it, it says 7/24/2018. Okay, that's on the Kafir calendar. What about the Hijra calendar? What day is it? So you should be looking, knowing both days. All right, make that a habit. Okay, so like when you're doing your work or you write a date, write both dates. Right, write both dates. Write the date for the Kafir calendar and write the one for the Muslim calendar. So you'll know every day. You know what day it is. Okay, it's a good habit. All right. Inshallah, we'll move on. So those are the 5 pillars of Islam, and we establish it with the hadith of Buny al-Islam ala khams. Islam established on the 5, the 2 shahadas, and establishing the prayer, fasting the month of Ramadan, giving the zakat, and performing Hajj if you have the ability to do so. Excuse me.